tonight's show, we'll be fishing out the highlights of the latest video game releases.
And we'll be getting a bit closer to this little fella.
We'll be smacking the canvas in WWF Smackdown 2, Know Your Role, and Gunlock gets the once-over on the PC.
We go all fishy in this week's Top 5 and bring you the latest news on the Superfly Microsoft machine, the Xbox.
But first, here's Emily with the shifty PlayStation 2 title, Smuggler's Run.
Picture the modern-day British smuggler, and you'll probably have images of a man in a white van, flag in mouth, beer in hand, taking the ferry to France. Now, while Dover to Calais might offer some interesting options, Smuggler's Run on the PlayStation 2 have gone for something a touch more street, namely taking the action to the Canadian and Mexican borders of the US.
Careful, baby, careful. The car needs to be able to drive.
It's another morally dubious Rockstar game, but this time they've gone down the family route and avoided the controversy of previous games like the GTAs, sticking to illegal arms and unknown contraband instead. You play an aspiring bandito who has a Bo and Luke Duke-like talent with off-road vehicles. The fuzz will have you under arrest quicker than a dominatrix can cuff you by ramming your car and damaging it beyond repair. But instead of an urban setting, you get to roam around the countryside, looking for the smoking flares that pinpoint the booty. Make the pickup and drive to the drop-off point over the hills and far away. It's a ridiculously simple idea. Get from A to B as fast as possible by any means available. And the buttons won't flummox you either. No, because there's only stop-go with a handbrake thrown in for good flash. Interesting. So, I say it's an original take on the old classic racing genre. In the single-player Smuggler's Missions mode, it begins easily with you proving your worth as a sharp-bending driver, building up to full-blown rival gang action with more swine on your tail than the Pied Piper of Pig. Initially, you have two vehicles available to you, the nippy, back-end heavy buggy and the A-Team-style SUV. There's more to unlock as you progress. The artificial intelligence of the other cars is pretty good. There's no difference in the speed of your car and theirs, but they are all crap drivers, weaving around like Lee Marvin in Paint Your Wagon. It isn't overly hard. The biggest innovation in this game is the free roaming. Wander free as a jailbird across the three set borders, forest, desert and snow. You can go anywhere and do anything across vast expanses of territory. But what this game lacks to make it really great is character. Yes, the cars are funky, the countryside is pretty, and the booty is bountiful, but even the sassy voice of Radio Girl can't replace the pimp roll work of a dirty dozen doing some Smokey and the Bandit action. So maybe the old Dover to Calais ferry isn't such a bad idea after all. Anyway, it's fast, it's frolics and fun, and it's out with the PlayStation 2, November 24th. Time now for this week's gaming news.
Since the beginning of the series, we've been giving you the lowdown on what to cop up once all the super consoles have hit the market.
Always aiming to please.
And 300 quid and a bunch of nuts and bolts is a lot of dough.
So we couldn't leave you without telling you all about the full pie. Our final candidate for a super console of the new millennium is a cheeky wee entry from Ubercorp, Microsoft.
It's called the Xbox. I met up with the VP of Microsoft to get down and dirty.
What exactly is it all about?
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first of all, we created a console that's 2 to 3 times more powerful than anything that's ever been done before, so that's exciting. But the next step was to get some great games for that console. And so we went out, we've been talking to all the world's best game developers.
As the footage that we've got of Raven and the robot, is that actual gameplay?
We did a simulation in our lab and we said, boy, what do we think the capability of the Xbox is going to be? And we created this video. And then we took that to a game developer and said, we want you to make this into something real. And they were able to bring it to life on a prototype version of the Xbox that was 1/10 the power of the final Xbox. So we saw that and said, wow, if you can do that with 1/10 the power, what are we going to be able to do with the final version?
When's the release date?
Christmas next year.
The Xbox is a hefty beast. It's got more internal gadgetry than Ann Summers, plus a DVD, a hard disk, and internet capabilities.
Hold on to your hardware because this baby is fast. It's bigger, better, and longer than the average PC with a P3 Intel processor, massive memory, and an impressive graphics chip. Besides, it's got Raven.
Now, to weigh up.
The PlayStation 2 and Nintendo already have their niche market and are guaranteed to make a few coppers off the punters.
Sega, on the other hand, are already cowering under the glare of the Sony launch at Christmas. And retailers are already bundling top-of-the-line DVDs with their Dreamcast, hoping that their units will sell.
Once the Xbox hits the ground early next year, Sega might just be quaking in their boots.
Will wonders never cease?
Well, speaking of wonders, if Nintendo thinks they'll be ruling the roost in the handheld market come the release of the Game Boy Advance next spring, they've got another thing coming.
There's a whole gaggle of new 32-bit machines ready to flock on over to these shores, and the GBA is just leading the way.
But following closely behind is the Bandai Wonder Swan. This ugly ducklin's been in a starting block since the late 80s, but has never made it out of Japan.
But the Swan is about to bite back because it's got a top lineup of class act developers, including Final Fantasy creator Square.
You can expect to see classic Nintendo Entertainment System titles on this little powerhouse, plus it jacks into your Dreamcast, your PlayStation 2s and PCs.
Well, what's the problem? That ridiculous name. Anyway, now it's time for Boof to smack the canvas with the latest WWF.
Big daddies and fans of Flab unite. Bring on the bad hair, bad rock and white trash who narrowly escaped the porno industry. You're all gagging to don the tight panties and wrap your quivering nether regions around your opponent's neck in a thigh-clenching smackdown. Oh yes, it's time once again to shake hands with good old Betty Swallow in WWF Smackdown 2. No more roll. Now, to be honest, I thought I'd detest this game, but the very fact that it's uncouth and uncool, sweaty and hairy is what us clean, baby-bodied, smooth-skinned, pasty kids find so endearing. This game shoves you in the ring and gets your hands dirty. What you liked about the first, you'll like about this. Non-stop, blisteringly fast wrestling action. There's lots of humour packed in this game, starting with the very essence of what makes a good wrestling title, the characters. There's over 50 WF superstars to choose from, with much more attention paid to individual movesets of each wrestler, such as Dean Malenko and his fireman's carry Gutbuster. When playing in two-player mode, a particular favourite combination of mine was newcomer Scotty 2 Hottie, who certainly nifty on his feet, and buxom wench Trish Stratus, who goes straight to the apparatus. The new gimmick to go all frothy over is the ladder match. You can hang from the ladder, jump off it, or just use it to whack the living daylights out of your mate. Barbaric. What I did find exhausting is that these guys just seem to be able to keep going all night. This may sound like a good thing, but not when you're like, enough now, I'm getting sore. Sore fingers, that is. You can play for a solid arse-aching 30 minutes with no conclusive winner, no climax, if you will. If you're staying in for a bit of a beer, pizza and WWF Smackdown sesh, you can bet the beer and pizza end up anywhere except your stomach. This is one messy madcap game which will have you swearing and spitting pure filth. Lovely. WWF Smackdown 2 Know Your Role is cost-chucking its way onto your PlayStation on November the 7th. Time now to see what's been placed on this week's Shop Shelf.
First up, it's a movie license, this time cashing in on Disney's Jurassic fixation. Dinosaur may be for the under 12 Barney lover, but it's got enough redeeming design qualities to make this a play if you want to go prehistoric. Bring out the Monster Munch pickled onion flavor, of course, and clump.
Landing? Russia? Nah, instead of shoving a brick through someone's window, make a quick getaway through these amazingly reconstructed urban streets. If you pass the knowledge, you should be a pro at Metropolis Street Racer on the Dreamcast.
Okay, it's an alien invasion. Kill to freeze. Take your one gun and get rid of alien scum to save the universe in Raid Crisis. It's the sequel to the arcade shooter of the same name. Destroy and devastate. Kill, kill, kill!
You've already seen WWF on your PlayStation. Here's one for you Dreamcast owners. Pull on your tight pants and get that 80s perm. You're ready to WWF Royal Rumble. If you can handle having 9 flabby fighters after you in one small ring and aren't tired of the previous incarnations of the B.O. heavy Yankee sport, then try on the Lycra and get down with the belly bashing. It's so real. Out in the Dreamcast right now.
The Beardy Gits fantasy role-playing sequel, Baldur's Gate 2, has been out on PC for a bit now, but it hasn't stopped them from stroking their facial hair and erming and ahhing at the new fully explorable universe at their fingertips. Their pedigree is impeccable, and there are gnomes galore. If you're looking for the ultimate online world for the second time over, Baldur's Gate 2 is out now.
Got no pals? Looking for love? Don't go to those personal ads where you get trauma and disease.
No, what you want is a virtual friend.
Seaman is your man. Fish. Fishman.
He's like a Tamagotchi on the Dreamcast, but you have to teach him everything. Basically, you hatch him, you feed him, and then you watch them suck the blood out of one another and die.
Ew, that's horrible.
No, really, it's a charming game. Teaches our kids all sorts of good values.
Libya.
So I was led to believe I would be cared for by a fairly young, responsible human being. So far, this has proven to be true, but I am wondering about your age now. Tell me, are you in your, 20s?
Now, the game's not out here yet, and the Yankee version only understands people like me. So if you have managed to blag a copy off of a U.S. pal, then write in and let us know what your Seaman means to you.
And if there's anything else that grabbed your attention, then get over to our website for more info at www.4later.com/bits.
Join us after the break for a healthy smattering of this. Hello and welcome back.
Coming up, we'll be taking a look at the post-apocalyptic Gunlock on the PC.
And we'll be putting our arcade joysticks to the fishing test. But first, let's take a peek at some of the eel mails you've been sending us.
So, smegma.
Beautiful word.
Yeah, right. Well, we had some truly vile, low, repugnant answers to that competition question.
Yes, we asked you, how many words did the ancient Greeks have for smegma? The answer was 1.
And our completely randomly selected winner is Sean Hogan, who not only got it right, but also conjugated the verb twice in Latin, though. Smegma, smegmatos, smegmatai, smegmatar, smegmaton, smegmati.
Well done, Sean. You get a year's free membership at a health club.
You lucky boy. Anyway, don't forget there's still time to nominate your favourite game for our top 50 games of all time chart. Here's what to do.
To choose your top game of all time, log on to our website and place your vote. Easy.
And don't forget, we still want your pictures as we search for Britain's biggest geek. Embrace that geekhood, be loud, be proud, and share it with the nation.
We know you're out there, so don't be shy. We want this board completely covered in geeks.
Next up is Alex as she packs up with Gunlock.
PC games are normally war-based shooters featuring genetically modified robots battling it out over the terrain of post-apocalyptic Earth. Well, not challenging the stereotype then, is Gunlock.
Created by the sick bastards who brought us the pant-cacking days and nights glued to our stools in front of the monumental Alien vs. Predator, Rebellion are also children of cool Britannia, which may explain why their prodigal son is less Mark Twain and more Snatch. Gunlock is a sensitive new age robot created from human parts and metal by the Big Brother corporations who took over the Earth sometime during the 21st century. While going about his daily killing spree for the conglomerate, Mr. G has an epiphany. He becomes self-aware. And, as in all good dystopic sci-fi plots, he decides to thwart corporate evil and save the day.
The characters rummage through what looks like 3-day-old vomit to find the refuse left over by ex-robots. Now, each dude has his own positive and negative qualities, and it behooves the gamer to make these distinctions early on, because what, pray tell, is a 98-pound weakling gonna do with a really big gun? And where is he gonna put all this shit?
They then stealth their way around, using the welcome complexity of the usually dull PC terrain to cower from oncoming laser beams and hide from bug bots. These labyrinths are puzzles in themselves, and you can easily play through without the bad guys and have a jolly enough time figuring out where the heck you are and what the heck you want to do next. Acting like a futuristic televangelist, Gunlock spreads the word to the few mechanoids who still have a brain, a heart, and some courage, and sets his phasers to kill on the wicked witch of capitalism.
If you don't already have a futuristic quest-driven game that takes place on an inhospitable terrain and features lots of self-aware robots at the helm, well then Gunlock could just fill that gaping hole in your collection.
Oi, Boo! We don't quite know why, but fish are inherently funny. Even Tony Blair in his days of dubious darkness takes refuge in Big Mouth Billy Bat, who belts out karaoke classics for those in need of comic relief.
So, we've fished around for our top 5 fishy moments for you lucky people. And here's what we reeled in. Help! Help me!
Weighing in at number 5, the most obvious of the lot is Sega Bass Fishing for the Dreamcast. As if you really needed reminding, it's a fishing game! Proof, too, that size really does matter.
Oh, a big one!
Coming in 4th is Conker's Bad Fur Day on the N64. Conker is a foul-mouthed squirrel who enjoys pissing off and pissing on whoever gets in his way. His adventures take him on a trip through the movies, in particular, a scene that bites a chunk out of the classic Jaws. Except it's a dog with fins. Oh well, close enough.
And how could we forget the frantically fantastic Fishy Bishy Bashy? With a plethora of minigames, you're spoilt for choice, even when it comes to fishing.
Second place, it's that old gal Lara again, wrapping her legs around a sizable hunk of meat in Tomb Raider 2. There's nothing quite like a shark attack to get you flailing for terra firma, so we decided that there's enough of Lara already. Let's see her die a watery death, getting her butt bitten good and proper.
Last but not least, the deceptively non-aquatic zombie fest, House of the Dead 2 on the Dreamcast. But where did the little fishies come in this bloodbath? Rotten fish. Phew, you'd have thought the smell would be enough to finish you off.
Video games can be so dangerously addictive you can spend hours and hours in front of that screen.
But are they getting in the way of other everyday activities?
Well, not if you can do 2 things at once.
Tonight we're testing these PlayStation controllers to see which gives you the freedom to get busy with that other hand.
We've invited Sam back on the show because we were so impressed with his fancy footwork a couple weeks back with the Thrustmaster Skateboard Challenge. We wanted to see what he could do with his nimble fingers.
We're talking one-handed gameplay here, but in keeping with the fishy theme of the show, we've got a little surprise for him. Sam, are you ready?
Right then, he's got 30 seconds on each controller on Soccer World Touring cars. But here's the catch.
While playing end the game with one hand, you've got to whip up a super spiffy prawn cocktail with the other, making full use of your fingers and your mouth. But we're going to break you in easy, Sam, and start off with the original Sony DualShock controller.
Now, we've got the main ingredients: lettuce, mayo, ketchup, and of course the star, the prawns, and some lemon. But don't forget, the task isn't over until you munch it all down.
And here.
Excellent. He's starting with a bit of a lettuce bed salad. This is what we like. This is what we like. Oh, the ketchup's in. It's right on the prawns. Oh, he's not concentrating on the driving. No, he's losing it. He's losing it. Oh, and then, in it goes. But, you know, it's not bad. A bit of juice. Oh. Now, I feel you have to eat. You have to eat.
Counting down now.
You're not paying attention.
3, 2, 1, 8.
Right up next is the Namco arcade stick.
You have 30 seconds to keep time beating this drum with a fresh fish whilst playing.
Start beating, boy.
Okay, now, get it going. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, Sam, you need to firm hands on that. It's looking rather floppy. Oh, my God. And there's fish juice everywhere. Oh, yeah. Keep the rhythm. Slow down. Calm. Step back. A bit of a breather. You're all over the place, Sam. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was revolting.
And for the climax, you'll be using the Slipstream driving wheel.
But this time you have to dive deep inside this warm, wet bowl to see if you can find us some buried treasure. So, Sam, don't be shy. Shove your hand inside and have a good old-fashioned feel around.
Ready, go. Put your hand in that fish tank, boy. You're going to be slamming around for some nice buried treasure. Fish are flying everywhere, and I'm sorry, you need to go straight. You are not going anywhere near the road. I think your only interest is feeling around with some fresh fish. It's pretty revolting stuff, and I can tell you, the stink in here is unbelievable. And I don't think that buried treasure is any closer to coming home.
Oh, I just put my hand inside a fish.
Hand inside of a
But
fish.
I have the treasure.
Oh my God, he's found the buried treasure.
So, Sam, which controller was the easiest to multitask with?
Well, the pressure point technique of the Slipstream was mighty indeed, but the true power lies with the dragon style of the DualShock controller.
So there you go. It just goes to show that video gaming doesn't have to take all your time and attention.
Time now for the competition.
Tonight you can win a Turok 3 bundle pack courtesy of Acclaim.
All you have to do is answer our totally random question, which is hidden inside that thing's mouth.
Aha! And the question is, Booth's Uncle Horace has a little problem. He won't put a foot outside his house unless he has his trousers tucked securely into his socks and a whole freshwater trout dropped into each trouser leg. Family connections. What we'd like you to do is create a brand new medical term for Uncle Horace's bizarre condition. The best suggestion gets a prize.
Yeah, we want you to create a brand new medical term for Uncle Horace's bizarre condition. The best suggestion gets the prize.
Okay, there you have it. Send your answers in via our website at 4later.com/